Well, I just parked at the Walker Ranch Loop Trailhead. This is just under 8-mile trail, and it's probably going to be my last long training hike before the Colorado Trail. It's a very warm, sunny day. Only about 8 o'clock in the morning. It's already warming up. Should be about 80-something today, but thank God I had Colorado and no humidity. It just came from Florida, and it was, oh my gosh, it was so muggy there. But yeah, beautiful here. Looking forward to a good hike. I have learned that I would hike an awful lot faster if I didn't take time to stop and enjoy the views, but cannot appreciate that. Pretty amazing. This is the inaugural track for my latest pair of La Sportiva Echas. I have actually been wearing them since the Appalachian Trail towards the end. I had so many foot issues. If you watched that series, you'll know that I really was struggling and getting on and off the trail, trying new shoes, that sort of thing. But I finally discovered the Echas toward the end of the trail, and they worked wonders for my feet. Unfortunately, I had to start with men's shoes because they didn't make the women's in my size. And over the past few years, they have started to make the women's in my size, and they've also moved away from the original kind of garish colors. My first pair was black and red and yellow, pretty bold. And now I've got a pair that was a special edition for La Sportiva. You can only buy them directly from La Sportiva, but they're very pretty. They're blue and purple, lavender, that sort of thing. Just very girly, which is nice for a change to have some girly shoes. I'm excited about wearing them on the Colorado Trail, and I'm breaking them in this morning, although trail runners typically don't need much breaking in. Still, I'm getting them dirty, I guess I should say. I've been going down, 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 and finally came to this creek, which I understand the trail follows for quite a ways. I am going up again. This trail has several decent-sized ups and downs. These climbs are good because they get my heart rate up, work my legs, and lead to views like this one. Bonus points. Just passing the 2-mile mark, and I see a pretty little bench right there where I think I'm going to stop for a minute. I am still wrestling with my heart rate getting a little higher than I would like it to be. I first noticed that on my climb up Mount Sanitas. I've been trying to monitor it, but I think it's just a product of it. There's birds. Bird! Anyway, I think it's a product of cardio conditioning or lack thereof. Right now, it's a little hard to see, but it's in the 150s. It was up to 170 a few minutes ago, which is definitely higher than I'd like it to be. I don't think I've had this issue before, but then I've always hiked with my old Casio watch, which didn't have a heart rate monitor on it. And since I've been doing training hikes out here in Colorado, I've been wearing my regular Garmin watch, and I don't usually hike with it because it takes the charge, and I like it for sleep monitoring and things like that, but it's come in very handy for heart rate monitoring as well. So I'm going to keep an eye on that, and we'll probably just go ahead and bring it on my Colorado Trail hike just so I can keep an eye on things. You can still see some snow-covered peaks over there. And I am actually now in El Dorado Canyon State Park, which I hear is absolutely gorgeous. Looks like I get a little reprieve from some of the climbing. Get to do some meadow walking for a little bit, but first I'm going to walk over here and just check out the sign and see what it says. I know that this area, at least part of the ranch, is on the National Register of Historic Places. So it'd be cool to get a little information about that. It's actually a good thing I stopped to check out the little sign, because otherwise I would have been heading on the trail that goes up that direction, which apparently is not where I was supposed to go. So I'm going to go down and through this lovely, lovely little meadow. One of the things I loved last year about the Colorado Trail, the sections, I think I did not quite half. Anyway, what I loved was the beautiful meadows and the wildflowers that were just everywhere, and it was really a treat. And although I'm the kind of person who doesn't like to retrace my steps, not a big fan of out and back hikes. I really like either end-to-end or loop hikes. And it's okay with me this year to go back and do it again, because it's been a high snow year and I'm starting a little bit later, so I know the experience is going to be completely different. The terrain may look very different, might still have a lot of snow and a lot of water from all the snow melt. So I'm excited about seeing the trail from a slightly different perspective this year. Mile 3. Well, that little meadow walk was pretty epic. Now I'm heading back in the trees and still heading mostly downhill. So I think that means I'm going to be going uphill soon. The law of the trail. What goes down, goes up. I'm thinking about rattlesnakes this morning. I have not yet seen one on the trail. And I just looked down and saw a little tiny snake. I startled it startled me. But it wasn't a rattlesnake, so that's a good thing. But I am on alert because it's warmed up, and I think they're out of their nests now, so I have to keep an eye out and be safe. Just came through a rocky section right there and rolled my ankle. Thankfully, I caught myself, and it wasn't really bad. It hurt. So it may be a little bit sore tomorrow, but it makes me thankful that I carry my Garmin inReach mini everywhere I go, because you just never know when a beautiful little day hike can turn into something worse. We're not due for any rain till much later today, but there are some clouds kind of welling up a little. Well, that sign's a bit hard to read, but it does say mile 4, which means I am halfway through this hike and heading back towards the trailhead now. When I was about a mile from the trailhead, I realized that I had potentially a big problem. And I thought, oh my goodness, I don't know if I'll be able to get home or not. So I thought about what to do as I went the rest of the way to the trailhead. And I was like, I don't want to turn around and go back. It's not going to help any more than if I actually do the hike. So I went ahead and decided, well, let's do this. And here I am, halfway through. Well, there's a challenge. I haven't read which is which, so I'm not sure which way to go. All right, I don't know what I'm in for, but I've got the time, so I'm going to take the more technical route and see what I get. Well, I just came out the other side, and I could say maybe more technical, but it's definitely not difficult. That was just a short little stretch with a little bit of downhill scramble going counterclockwise, which is the direction I'm moving today. It's not really a big deal. I think anybody out here hiking could easily tackle that little stretch. This trail is open to hikers, bikers, and horses, except for this little stretch. There are some stairs here that I had heard about in advance. And if you watched my hike up to Royal Arch, you know that I don't love stairs. I guess sometimes they make things easier. I prefer to see trails in their natural state, even if that means a little scrambling. And now it makes it more accessible, I guess, for more people. Apparently that was just the first little stretch of stairs, and there are more to come. And on and on and on. But if you look way down there, you can see the creek, which I think I'm going to be catching up with in a little bit. You can actually get right down to the creek from here if you need water. I'm going to take a break and drink some, and then I'm going to head up that way. That's mile 5, and then finally back to climbing. So I stopped right at the beginning of the climb here just to see what I'm in for, and I actually came down this way, went up that, been doing a long down to the creek, and I just started this little stretch right here. Then I'll level out, and another big climb before I level out at the end. This little stretch in mile 5, into mile 6 is kind of remarkable. It's going up and down a little bit. Pretty, and there's some cool breezes, so I have no complaints. So I just crossed the creek and I'm getting near the end. This total loop is 7.8, 7.9 according to some maps, and I've got 1.4 to go. Nice little place for a break, huh? Just check the trail map, the 𝐒𝐿 app, and it seems to think I've taken a wrong turn, but I really don't think I have, because this is starting to look like the beginning of the trail again. I'm guessing maybe there was a reroute because I'm following the trail and it goes up over there, which seems like the right direction. I just passed the marker for mile 7, and right before I did, there was a little bench where I took a break, and I got a message from Andy saying that there is a National Weather Service alert for severe thunderstorms anytime from now until 8 o'clock tonight. So you can see the clouds I showed you earlier are definitely building. And there could be hail up to 3 inches in size, so it makes me glad that I am almost done with this beautiful hike. Little bee there doing his job. It's pollinating away. Well, I can finally see the trailhead again off there in the distance. I think I've got maybe about half a mile to hike, and then I'll call it a day. Now, I did mention that I encountered a problem just before I got to the trailhead that might impede my progress to get home. Unfortunately, it's a dumb thing. It's all my fault. I should have known better, but I'll tell you about it when I get to the car. So that little yellow light is my problem. It says my range is 60 miles. That should be plenty to get me to Boulder and to a gas station, but I'm going to be like coasting down the hilly, windy trek back to town because I'm worried about the amount of gas that I have left, and that's totally preventable. I could have done it, just stopped on the way, but I'm eager to get to the trailhead early so I can park and be out before it gets too hot, and totally a preventable problem. But certainly not one that you want to have. So note to self and to you guys as well. Make sure you check your gas before you head out. In spite of that little blip, I had a really great hike. This trail was beautiful, a little challenging in places and not so bad in others. So I would call it maybe moderate plus, not quite difficult. 7.9 miles, and yeah, great place to train and just a great place to visit if you've got some time, want to do a good lengthy day hike or a training hike, and want to be able to enjoy some pretty cool views along the way.